Hi, I'm artist and author Debra Band. Welcome to the third in a short series of 4 videos celebrating Mother's Day. These are called Celebrating the Mother of All Souls. Now, in the earlier posts in this short series, we examined the roots of the Jewish mystical conception of the Shekhinah as the Mother of All Souls. Let's now examine how other elements of the Friday evening traditions reflect this linkage, beginning with Shabbat candle lighting. Now, the practice of lighting candles as the Sabbath descends was ordained in the Mishnah, the first codification of Jewish law, finished in the 2nd century of the Common Era. And it was ordained simply to illuminate the Shabbat table so that the family could enjoy their festive meal together. And even so, the light from the candles has come to represent far more than simple pragmatism. In the illuminations you see here, I express the exchange of prayer and light between the heavens above and the human world below as we inaugurate Shabbat with candlelight and begin to draw divine wisdom down to our material realm. One Kabbalistic writer from the 17th century, this is Chemdat Yamim, suggests that the light from the Shabbat candles adds to the additional soul, known as the neshama yetera, that flowers within the soul of every Jew during Shabbat. It's this neshama yetera that brings our Shabbat rest and pleasure. Now, since the neshama yetera flows into each one of us from the feminine Shekhinah, again, as we've discussed throughout this, the funnel for all divine energy into our world, it's expressly the woman of the house who gets the privilege of lighting the candles, thus reenacting the unification of the human and divine spheres. This same writer compares the candlelight that reaches toward heaven, toward Jacob's ladder from Genesis, that bridge between heaven and earth, suggesting that the candlelight gladdens and blesses the hearts of those it illuminates. And aside here, if you hear some chirping, this is my cockatiel who I did not banish from my studio just now. Anyhow, at right, the Hebrew illumination presents my grandmother's and mother's silver candlesticks within a design presenting the depictions of sources of light and human understandings of the cosmos. The blue and gold motif represents the Shefa, the Kabbalistic conception of divine energy flowing throughout the universe. Here, I've painted this pattern into the candle flames. We view the candles against the dusk sky lit by the setting sun, while the ever-evolving deep sky wheels far above our heads and homes. That geometric pattern you see surrounding the words of the blessing is a classical Moorish pattern that was part of the visual surroundings of the Sephardic community. The pattern expresses the flow of all geometric form from a single central point, symbolizing the origin of the universe in the Creator whose work and rest we celebrate on Shabbat. I should add here that one of my earlier videos talks specifically about these geometric patterns based on a trip to Spain that my husband and I made earlier in the year. Anyhow, this illumination is edged by 2 borders of decorative calligraphy. Here, I'm playing with the many traditions of women's meditations called techinas about candlelighting around the world, including a couple of modern ones. These lovely poems often deal directly with motherhood. Here, the outer band in blue offers a Yemenite techina for women to say while enjoying the light of the candles. This was collected by the 20th century Yemenite rabbi Yosef Kapach. O my master, save us and deliver us, and have mercy upon us, and have mercy upon my children and their father. Imbue them with wisdom, elevate their path, and smooth their life's trails. Grant them favor and acceptance, endow them with complete health, and fulfill their wishes. Keep troubled times from them, and allow no tormentor or enemy to prevail over them. Guide them in your way to observe the Torah. The inner band in green presents a famous medieval view of how the human soul reflects divine radiance. In his philosophical work in verse, The Royal Crown, Keter Malchut, the 11th century Spanish poet and philosopher Shlomo ibn Gabirol attempts to reconcile Torah with the Neoplatonic thought of his day, exploring ideas of the flow of divine energy through the cosmos, how divine energy flows from God through the stars and planets inward toward the earth. You are the light of the upper regions, and the eye of every soul that's pure will take you in, and the clouds of sin in the sinner's soul will obscure you. Your invisible light in the world will be seen in the world to come on the mountain of God. The illumination at left surrounds the English translation of the blessing with similar geometric and astronomical imagery. The green band of decorative text presents the English translation of Ibn Gabirol's description of divine light, while the blue band presents a passage from another meditation to be recited after candlelighting, composed by the 19th century German rabbi's daughter and poet Fanny Neude. Shabbat is the crown and the glorious ornament of the week. It ennobles our aspirations, consecrates our enjoyment, pours soft, heavenly light across our pilgrim path on earth, and carries us back to you whenever weekday aspirations remove us from you. We look up to you, O God, with pure confidence in love and humility. Every thought of you lifts the veil from our eyes. The light increases within our souls. In the next and last video, we'll see how wisdom flows into the world through the Friday night Kiddush, the blessing over wine that begins the festive Shabbat Eve dinner, and end with the exploration that I promised in the first video of Eshet Chayil, a powerful woman, the paean of praise to wisdom, to the Shekhinah, and the woman of the house that many Jewish families sing at the traditional Shabbat table. I hope you've enjoyed this 4-part series and that it brings a deep meaning to your Mother's Day celebration. Follow these little videos for further adventures exploring the Jewish spirit through visual midrash. Full discussions of the poetry and paintings above can be found at Kabbalat Shabbat, the Grand Unification, that was published at the beginning of September 2016. I've also published a matching paperback bencher, Kabbalat Shabbat, the Grand Unification at the Sabbath Table, which contains just the illuminations of songs and prayers chanted as Shabbat arrives and around the dinner table. This way, everyone at the Shabbat table can share the lovely paintings and ideas along with the lucky person holding the hardback book. As you see on the screen, the books can be purchased at your favorite bookstores or at my distributors at www.ipgbook.com. You can find out more about my Hebrew illuminated manuscripts and book talks at my website. Finally, I'd like to thank Sharon and Steve Lieberman for their wonderful, gracious, and generous support of this work. And happy Mother's Day!